Alright guys, welcome back to part 2 of the Hasbro collection. This is going to be the Series 2 figures. Yeah, let's get started. Like I said before, the Hasbro figures are hard to find figures in the wrestling universe of figures. They're probably the most popular, and I'd say they're the greatest of all time, so let's just see why. First off, for Series 2, we got the one and only, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes right here. This one is probably my most expensive figure and most sought after figure because Dusty's figure is very, very rare. This is a very, very once in a lifetime limited edition figure on the Hasbro line right here. It's very hard to find, as many of you know. And it was not, and once Dusty left the company, they completely got rid of all the other figures that they made of them. So there was very few of them. They didn't mass produce it like these other figures here, like some of the other ones here. This one was very, very, very scarce as compared to the other ones I have coming up. And it's because of Dusty leaving. And had Dusty not left the WWF, it probably would be one of the most common ones, most likely, or very common one. So Dusty's figure is very interesting. He's like the only mold that has this. He does the Dust Buster, which is where it's one of those headbutting things, but his arm moves as well. I think it was something he did in the ring as well. Was something similar to this. Some of the moves aren't completely accurate, but you know, it is what it is. So if you tilt, he does the headbutt thing where you headbutt him and then he moves just like Andre and Hakeem. So those were the only three figures that. All right, so we got the next figure, the Ultimate Warrior from the Series 2 Ultimate Warrior, the most jacked up warrior figure ever, right here. This is the old. This was around the time where he was. Oops, fell. This is around the time he was the WWF champion. At this time when this figure was released, and God, this figure looks so buffed up. Look at this. He looks jacked up in this. Great likeness of the figure. This is the best warrior figure in my opinion, because this is kind of like what he actually looked like. And like unlike the other ones, which he didn't really look like that too much. So this is more of like a cartoony version of him though. So it's realistic and it's cartoony at the same time, if that makes sense. So he does the ultimate slam, they call it, where he pretty much just, you pull his hands up and then he slams the opponent down, whatever. Great warrior figure. I love this figure so much. It's always hard to find them without that black on the nose. It's like it was just a part of a ton of them. But this is an amazing figure, amazing mold of the warrior, and another one that's just incredible. Glad to have him. All right, next we got the Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Another one of the most common Hasbro figures, and one of the most cheapest, if anything. It's just a Superfly. What else can I say? This is a great. Once again, I'm gonna say it for each and every one of these. A great likeness. He's one of those jumpers where he does the. Oh, look at that! He stood when I jumped like that. That's crazy. That was actually, let's see if I can do it again. Nope. He does what they call the Superfly Slam. This isn't really a slam. I mean, it's more, I guess it's not a slam, but they call it that. Like I said, some of these are great names like Superfly Slam, but like it's not accurate, or like the Dust Buster. They're fun names, but they're not completely accurate, but who cares? Superfly, this is a very good figure right here. It's as simple as it gets. It's just a Superfly, Jimmy Snuka, and yeah, another one of the best figures. And he does the famous jump off the top rope, lands in the air, right there. So that's the Superfly. Very cheap. Next up, we got the Honky Tonk Man with his guitar accessory. He does the shake and roll, they call it. No, they call it the rattle and roll. instead of shake, rattle, and roll, which was his famous move. This figure, the Series 2, it looks like they came out with figures that were big stars of the 80s that had, like, a lot of them had passed their prime for a lot of them, but they still look damn good after all these years. So you'd like, yeah, oh, there goes his guitar. You just slam it. This is one of the best looking figures, though, even though this came out when Honky Tonk Man was just about to leave the WWF. But apparently they had a lot of these figures out, which is why I'm wondering why Dusty's is so rare, but it really is. You got a shake, rattle, roll, and guitar. Yeah. So he just puts his hands up. It's not really a shake, rattle, and roll. It's kind of like a slam. Yeah. That's the Honky Tonk Man. Alright, next up we got the one and only Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the true American. And here it's as simple as it gets of a figure, like this like a Superfly. He's got his thumbs up. He's got that ho he's doing with his mouth. Looks like he's about to say it. Unfortunately, I do not have his 2x4 accessory. It's not even a hard one to get. I just don't have it. So it's just without it. He does come with a 2x4. This is one of only a couple figures where I don't have the accessory. And Hacksaw does the hack attack, which he just pulls his arm up and he attacks. Yeah. Nice looking figure. I don't remember Hacksaw wearing black shoes in the ring, though. It was always blue, but this is a nice looking figure. Another very cheap one, but it has the likeness spot on like the rest of them. All right, next up is one of my all-time favorite heels. Was Rowdy Roddy Piper. But this figure came out when he was a babyface, and he was a commentator at the time. So like I said, a lot of these guys... Oops. Man, my fingers keep falling when I try to use them in one hand. But these guys, a lot of these guys weren't in the ring for the Series 2 ones. Minus, they weren't too prevalent in the ring at the time of their release. Hot Rod does the Piper Punch, where I'm having a lot of trouble with these figures that do the punch. He does you just turn it back, and then it's supposed to... Shit. Yeah, it's hard showing you guys what it does with just one hand. Can't even get a good grasp on it. Yeah, that's the Hot Rod figure. Like I said, minus the Dusty Rhodes figure, a lot of the Series 2s are very, very cheap. They're probably the cheapest ones, minus Dusty and the Ultimate Warrior and Honky Tonk with the guitar. But Honky Tonk's pretty cheap. But they're around like 15 to 20 bucks. So they're a lot cheaper than most of these figures that I have. That's like one of the cheaper ones here. Hot Rod is one of the most well-known figures, people in all of wrestling. So not a lot to say there. Oops. And he keeps falling. All right, next up we got Marty and Shawn, the Rockers. This is the first one I'm doing of the Tag Team 2-packs. Hasbro did a really outstanding job with those tag team 2-packs back in the day. You got some of the greatest tag teams in those packs, and the Rockers was definitely one of them. You got Shawn Michaels here before he was the Heartbreak Kid. You have him as you have Sexy Shawn and Marty Marty. Shawn does the Rocker Shocker, where it's pretty much just one of those jumping figures, and then Marty does the Rocker Dropper, where it is he does like a drop kick move where if I were to put it up, his legs would go in, and then see his legs go in, and then you just shoot out. Which this is the only Marty Jannetty is the only figure that does that. No other Hasbro figure does that on the line. But these two came together back in the day. You would get them together, not separate. So the Series 2, and like I said before, these are another one of the most common Hasbro figures you'd see in like lots or sales or whatever stores. These would always be the most common. So you got Marty and Shawn, the Rockers. Hope maybe forever the Rockers. Maybe. All right, next up we got a fan favorite here. We got the Bushwhackers, Luke and Butch. Another one of the tag team 2-packs right here. And another one of the most common Hasbro figures out there. I believe this one is Butch and this one is Luke. They were the cousins. They were a big fan favorite at the time. They were in the WWF for a long time, actually. They were there for a lot longer than many people remember them being. They just weren't as prevalent on the shows. So Butch does this Butch does this stomp move with his, these are, the ones I have are like near mint. They're in excellent condition. Butch does the stomp with his boot. They call it the down and out blaster. They call it. I don't know why. It's just a stomp. And then Luke does the pounder from down under, I believe. Or maybe it might be the other way around. I mean, I think, Luke does the pounder from down under. Might be mistaken that, guys. I mean, these two are pretty hard to decipher which is which. I might have gotten that wrong. I think that's Butch and that's Luke. But they're a big fan favorites back in the day. And these figures look like them spot on. So that's going to do it for Series 2 of the Hasbro figures. Here they are. Oops, let me put these together with the Series 2 figures. Here they are. This is all of Series 2. Here are the figures. All right, guys. Thank you for watching the Series 2 of the Hasbro figures. And tune in for Series 3, which will be right after this.